Hello, this is General Guidance number 2 for the Complementary Model-Based Systems Engineering of Law. And we see here this graphical model that is a way to precisely engineer as much as possible the law and the elements of the law. So what the diagram shows us is that in general we have a first party or a defendant having performed an action with a certain intent or scienter, and the proximity of those two show a concurrence of the two, or a juxtaposition, togetherness of those two elements, the action and the intent. Those oftentimes have to be timely concurrent in the law, that is, present at the same time. Now, the action and the intent of the first party will often be analyzed as a whole under a totality of the circumstances test, and have a certain rationale applied to the analysis of everything present in the first party. Then the first party often causes an action, causes something to occur in the second party, so there's physical causation, and then there's the qualitative based causation going onto or toward the second party. So the second party then often suffers a physical change under a certain type of mental state, such as distress, or perhaps they receive notice of an action. They are aware that some contractual change has occurred, for example. And then the second party situation is often judged under a totality of the circumstances test. Here, for example, there can be a legal judgment. Has the second party relied on the notice or other actions delivered by the first party? Okay, so those are the elements of the law in general. Here's just a simplified diagram of the same thing. An actor causes something to be performed on the actee, or the receiver of the action. Now there's a difference here that's noted between law and equity, and the difference is that the law often talks about specific conditions, and the law will seek to apply a specific rule with a discrete outcome. So the law seeks to be precise and apply a rule, yes or no, and arrive at a very definitive judgment. In contrast, equity will look at numerous and uncertain conditions, look at all the conditions that were present in all their confusion and all their various details, for example, and then equity will apply a balancing test. Oftentimes a judge in equity will apply a balancing test to the situation, and the balancing test is summarized here for you. Under an equitable balancing test, the first party's situation will be weighed. That is, for example, the importance of the situation for the first party, the risk undertaken by the first party, the cost incurred by the first party, or perhaps the profits received, the benefits received, the cost may sum in or subtract out. This is the situation of the first party, and then the situation of the first party will be balanced against the situation of the second party, which is the importance of the situation to the second party, their risks, their costs or benefits, and so equity will apply a balancing test.